Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If anybody is new and hasn't seen me, I am Dr. Lisa Carr. I haven't been able to make it the last couple of months, but we are done with school sports for a little bit, so I am back and here for tonight. If you hadn't filled out that registration form, I think everybody in here is on my email list, hopefully. You can go back up and do that, and the link to the worksheets is up in the chat box, so you can scroll back up if you missed that for the worksheets. So our topic for tonight is cat coat colors. As we're going to talk about differences in coat colors, coat patterns, it's how cats get different colors, and then hopefully we can all be able to correctly identify our own cat's colors and other cat colors when we get to the end. All right, so again, if you haven't done this, that link is in the chat box. Hopefully you got the email like yesterday with that information, so you would be set. Okay, so like I said, our topic for tonight, we're going to talk about coat colors. So we're going to talk about how coat colors and patterns are developed, different coat colors. So I'm going to give you examples of those so you can get a good idea of what color you're supposed to say your cat is if you're not sure. We'll talk about different types of tabby patterns as well as some other unique cat patterns and how to identify what type of pattern that cat has. Do you guys know, before we start, does anyone know what pattern of color this cat is? Give them 1 second and then I'll let Natalie guess. Anybody in the chat box want to guess what color pattern this one is? What do you think it is? Yeah, it says a tabby, right? This is one of the tabbies, and we'll talk about what type of a tabby cat it is when we get to that part. So, if you guys came to the talk with last year, we did one on genetics and talked a little bit about that. But right, so as a refresher on our genetics topics, right? DNA, all of us have it. It's made up of genes. And genes are what determine our traits, right, and how we appear as well as how our cat appears. So they do things like size of the cat, the color, the pattern, as well as a number of toes. So you guys might know, right, some cats have extra toes, right, and so here's a picture of a cat that's got an extra toe, right, because some genetically are predisposed to have an extra toe. And that's called being polydactyl. You didn't know that word, but cats with extra toes. So we're going to just review a little bit of genetics so we remember kind of how coat color is determined by genetics. So each gene that your cat has, or that you have, codes for a specific characteristic or trait in the animal. And so there's a set of genes that code for color of your cat. And so one example, right, is this gene that's characterized by the letter D. So a big D makes your cat have a black coat color, and the little d is a blue coat color. And so when we're looking at coat patterns, which ones of those genes the cat has are going to determine whether my cat is black, like in this picture, or if they turn out blue, right, which is kind of a grayish color in cats. So the big D, right, means that this is a dominant trait, so it's going to be the one that shows the most. So anytime your cat has one big D in their genetics, right, we would have a black cat, and they have to have two little Ds, one on each gene, to be a gray cat or a blue cat. So here's the example of this, right? So you get two genes for each trait, and one comes from each parent. So we're going to pretend like this is our dad cat and our mom cat, right? And they're going to have the kitten. So in this example, right, the dad cat, he's black. He's got two dominant genes for being black, two big Ds. And then the mom cat has a big D and a little d. So she's also black, but she could pass on that genetics for the gray color. So if he gives a big D from that one gene, right, you get one from each parent. So a big D from the dad, a little d from the mom. Then you still have this black kitten, right, but they're what we call heterozygous. So their genes have a big one and a little one. So a little black cat. The dad would have to have a little d, right, as well in order to get a blue cat. So you have to have two of those little Ds. So you get one gene from each of your parents. So if you guys think about how your parents look and you look, right, you can think of some traits that you get from each of your parents, or some that might be a mixture of traits between your parents because you get those genetics from each of them. So like I said, genes are what we call dominant or recessive. So the dominant gene is always that one that we give the big capital letter to, because it's always going to show itself. If they have one of the genes being that big letter, the dominant letter, that's the one that will be expressed, or we'll see in that case, right? So Natalie probably got a black hair gene from your dad, right? And so you're going to have black hair because that's a more dominant color than some of the others, right? And the same with that black kitten. Recessive genes, right, will only be seen if they have two recessive genes. So I had to have two little d's to be a gray kitten, like this kitten here, or blue kitten, in order for that trait to be shown. So that's why it's important to kind of understand when we're thinking about coat color, the genetics of the parents, right? And it's also why in one litter of kittens you can end up with a whole host of different coat colors, because they're going to get different genetics from each of their parents. Okay, so back to our black cat example, right? So this is going to be a black cat. This is what we would call a blue cat. So gray is called blue in animals. So the big D, right, is the dominant trait. It means black. The little d is the recessive trait, so it's gray. So two big Ds, one from each parent, that cat's going to be black, like this cat here. A big D and a little d, we still have a black cat, like this one here. And we need two little Ds, the two recessive traits, and with a blue cat, so this gray color like we see here. Does that all make sense so far? Are we good? Understand? Somebody's microphone, I think, isn't muted. So one of the other traits we want to talk about before we get into colors specifically is the white masking gene. So cats that are white have a gene that masks their color. So cats that are white have an underlying coat color, and the white gene covers that up or masks that gene. So if you have a white cat, usually you can find some hairs on them somewhere that show what their true color would be, whether it's black or orange. And so are red, right? So this cat is probably black because it's true color, right? But that white masks the color on most of its body. Yeah, so Adriana, that's what you said. You had your cat had some black spots on it, right? So that's its true color. That white masking gene covers that color up and makes more of it white. And so it helps to blend it up. Okay, so that was kind of our background on genetics. Now we're going to talk about colors and different types of colors as we look at different breeds of cats and different color types in cats. So when cat breeds were developed, most of the coat colors developed from selective breeding. All cats, like the wild type coat color for cats is the tabby cat. We'll look at that, right? But that kind of striped tabby we had on that very first picture is what the wild African wildcat, which is what cats stripe from, all look like. So about 150 years ago, people started selectively breeding, so choosing different cats to breed. And that's how we started breeding for different colors, coat types, patterns. And so people would pick ones that came out different colors if they found one that was unique and start making crosses, right? You just mentioned the Bengal cat, right, with that first picture, right? And that's a cross between a wild cat and a domestic cat to make the colors. And so as we chose these characteristics, right, those parents passed those genes for their specific color on. And then we were able to get more and more color variations in our cat states. We have a whole host of different ones to look at. Right. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Is we don't always know what our cat's parents look like when we get them, and so you don't always know, or you don't know what the dad looks like. Maybe you've seen the mom, but not the cat's dad. And that's the important thing to point out, right, is that when we breed our cats, we don't know exactly what we're going to end up with. They may not look exactly like their parents. or may not look like what we expect they get, right? Because we get genes from each of the parents, and it's sort of a random guess. And so with purebred cats, the genetics are pretty consistent for coat colors, so you are more likely to get those colors that you wanted from those breedings. But it doesn't always happen, right? And then especially, I think most of us have cats that we found, or they found us, or they came from shelters, and so they're not necessarily where they intentionally bred for a certain color choice. And so yeah, we maybe have a little bit harder time predicting what colors they're going to be. One of the kind of cool things too is a litter of kittens can actually have 2 different dads. So you might even have more variation in coat color in a litter because they might not all have the same parent. All right, so with that, we're going to stop and we're going to do that first worksheet. So the link to the worksheet is up at the top of the chat. If you didn't get it, I know it is super weird. And need some pencils. Oh, yeah. Hope that'll work. That's a good understanding. All right, so this first.
Oh, switch snack.
What? No, you can't.
No,
Are you going to give me my food? Is that why you're coming?
No.
Oh.
All right, so our first activity is we're going to look at, it's titled Breeding Advice. The worksheet. And so what it's asking us to do is, our best friend Tilly is interested in breeding cats. Since you're the cat expert at your school, she came to you with some questions about how breeding works. So I'm going to go through and take a couple minutes to try to answer those questions on that first page, and then we'll go through the answers in just a minute. Maybe depending on how they printed for you, or if you print them, one question might roll on to the next page. It looks like it did in our printout.
Well, do we go into the biochemistry in it?
No.
Because now we know.
Myself. All right, we'll be ready to answer. Let me know if you guys finish up the worksheet. I know we're still working on it here, but as you finish, let me know, okay?
I'm done.
All right, perfect. think we're about done. We'll start going through the answers kind of as you're working on finishing up. Or maybe you're still, I guess it looks like we're still going here.
I'm done.
You're done? All right. Just, maybe we're slow today in here. At least Lauren. Oh, you're drawing.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go through the questions while we're finishing up. Before people bred cats, they first have to choose the parents. What do cats pass on to their children that determines coat color? What's that term?
Genes.
Genes? Yep. How many genes for a trait do a cat get from each parent? You guys can shout it out. I think well, you guys can hear you. Some of you. They get one from each parent, so they have two total, right? One from their mom and one from their dad. Do genes determine only coat color? And if not, what are some other things that they would affect?
Toes.
How many toes?
Eyes.
Eye color? Anybody else have some ideas of things that the genetics affect?
Furs.
Yeah, the fur type, the coat type, susceptibility to some diseases.
Everything.
Everything, right? And yep, that's right. Behavior, the size of the cat, the patterns, right? So lots of different things that genetics can affect. So then the next question is, I really want to breed a cat that has a red coat color. What two cats should I choose as parents?
The red Abyssinian and the red tabby.
Yep, perfect, right? If we breed two red cats, we should have a pretty good chance of having a red kitten. Do kittens always look like their parents? Yep, they're going to be a mix of genetics of their parents, right? So they might not always look the same, right? It's kind of random which genes the parents pass. They might not look the same. You guys might not look exactly like your parents, right?
I do not.
What type of breeding was used that led to the large variety of coat colors and patterns that we see today? Yeah, there was some random breeding, but also, right, selective breeding would be specifically choosing for certain coat colors. So that selective breeding helped to result in some of the variety. All right, and then the next page, right, you could draw, but we're going to go through the patterns, and then we'll look at coat colors, right? Okay, so next we're going to talk about specific coat colors in cats, and give you some examples of different colors that we can see in cats. So there are kind of a whole host of different colors you guys can see in your cats. You guys might know what color your cat is now, right? Most cats are either red, which is the technical term, right? We call it red and not orange, or black. But we can get a variation on those two colors to result in the other colors we can find. So blue or cream, lavender, sable, chocolate, chestnut, those are all kind of color variations that we get from those basic red or black coat colors that we find. So every cat has some base coat color in their genetics that results in their primary color. And so cats are either a black base coat or a red base coat. So if you guys think about your cat, you should kind of know which is their base color. We have one in each at our house. We have one black cat and one red cat.
Which one do you like more? Pick your favorite cat.
Can we do you pick my favorite?
Yeah, you have to pick your favorite cat.
Okay. We're going to get to talking about the tabby in just a little bit. We'll get some patterns. Right now we're talking about like the solid colors.
Here's a picture of our cat.
I know. So when we look at dilutes, right, so a dilute color is essentially what we would think of as being a lighter shade of the darker color. So, right, we talked about black being dilute as a gray, the red, the dilute is a cream. And so we call the lighter shades the dilute colors, right, because they're not as dark or as bright as they were. I think I might have spoiled the next answer, right? So we're looking at trying to guess the dilute forms, or if you want to, the terminology right here. So from black, right, I just said what the dilute form of black is. What color is that? Blue. So right, the lighter version of black will be this blue color. And so that's what we would call the dilute form of black. So that's the recessive version, right, of it. This cat has at least one big D trait, right? This one would have two little D's. It's the dilute or the recessive form of black. And then for red, this is like what my cat looks like. He's probably asleep like this right now. Right, so for red, do you guys know what the dilute color or the lighter version of red is called? Orange. Call orange cats red. Cats technically are orange. Lighter red. Pink. Yep, somebody got it right over there. Cream. Cream, right? So this kind of lighter orangish white color. Cream is what we would call that dilute form of our red. But then on top of those kind of basic colors, right, there are other colors we can see. Particularly some of these show up in some certain breeds of cats. So this is what we would call lavender, which is kind of a lighter gray color. So you can find lavender. And then it looks kind of like a, my cat wouldn't pose like that. That's, but this one isn't a really common coat color. This is a sable, so you can see it's black, but it's kind of got this reddish brown color in through it. So it's a really pretty color in there. You can see in some breeds of cats. This is a chocolate, right? So a brown color. Again, some of these aren't as common colors. But this is we like this color.
Oh,
this one over here.
Yeah. It's so cute.
And then chestnut would be another type of brown colored cat. And so again, these you only see in certain breeds usually and not as often.
I wanted to cry this cute. All cats are cute. There's no version.
So here is kind of a chart that has different different coat color combinations on it, right? So we have kind of a whole wheel of different colors. There's different points, right, on them and different colors. So what we can see, here's our basic colors, right? Our blue and black, our red and cream, so the lighter versions, right? Chocolate, lilac, cinnamon, and fawn, right? So we've got kind of different versions of those colors. So you can kind of see a whole host of different colors in our cats. So for you guys, what colors are your cats? Black and white.
Black and white.
My cat.
Calico.
What's yours? What color cat is yours? Red.
Tortoiseshell.
Okay.
Tortoiseshell and black and white.
Tortoiseshell and black and white. Very good. A lot of different color choices.
I have two cats.
Yeah, we have, okay, you have two.
My cat is cream with some chocolate points on it. He's a rag doll.
Cool. We're going to end up with lots of coat color choices.
Mine is a calico.
Calico.
Mine's a tortie.
All right. So, I think some of us in here started this one, and maybe we can do this after we're done too. But what colors were your favorite cat colors? If you were going to draw your own cat, or you picked your favorite cat color, what color would be your favorite? favorite cat color?
All of them. But
All of them?
Blue knitted rag dolls.
Oh, that's very specific.
Tortoiseshells.
Tortoiseshell. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some patterns, and then we'll do those next question sheets. So you guys have already mentioned some patterns, so you guys are familiar with some already. So pattern cats, we talked about kind of solid colored cats, but we can have tabbies, tuxedo, calico, tortoiseshell. And I want to talk about what makes each of those unique, right, or how we would identify those types of color patterns. Okay, scroll the wrong way. In addition, we can get some patterns that would be what we call shaded colors. So chinchillas, silver, smokes, these are kind of a different shaded of the same color versus being spots. They're not considered breeds. But then we also have color points, so where they have points of color. If we think about like Chinese cats or Himalayas have points of color in certain spots. Party colors or bicolor, which would be a two-color cat. So we're going to go through some examples of a bunch of these so you can kind of see what they should look like. Right, so it sounded like most of you guys were familiar with tabby cats in some way, right? And all cats do at the base level are a tabby cat, right? But some cats you don't see their tabby markings, but all of them will have the tabby markings, just like in black cats, you don't see them as well as you do like in this red cat that's a tabby cat here.
My mom said that you can tell it's a tabby if they have an M above their eyes.
Yeah, your mom is pretty smart. That's on our next slide. So if we look at this, right, this is all tabbies have this trademark M above their eyes. So these are outlined so you can kind of see them, but they have like these marks here that kind of make an M over their eyes, these black marks. So it makes an M for the tabby cat. So if you guys have a tabby or where you can see their striping, you can go home and look and you should see those lines on their forehead. So that's a trademark that all tabbies are going to have that M mark on their forehead. Oh, so cute. Okay, so within our tabbies, there's a couple of different types of patterns that we can see that will determine what type of tabby cat we have based on the pattern of their stripes or swirls or
Cute.
So when we're looking at types of tabbies, mackerel tabbies are the ones that have longer stripes down their sides. So you can see the stripes going down the sides of the cat. This is the wild ancestor type of cat, is the mackerel tabby. And so this is the more common type. Do you guys know, if you have a mackerel tabby or one with those stripes down their sides? You might have one. Okay. Okay, so that would be a common kind of marking.
What?
Hey, if you don't have your mic muted, could you mute your microphone so we don't hear the talking in the background? I tried to mute it, but I don't think it's letting me. All right, then the next type of tabby is the spotted tabby. And so these now, instead of stripes, over time they were selected for ones with spots where the stripes kind of broke up, and now they're a spotted tabby. So these are a little bit less common than the mackerel tabby with the striping. Another type of tabby pattern is the ticked tabby. So this one you don't see the stripes or the spots as much. They've broken up more, but the hairs have lighter and darker sections, so they're more blended. Tabby tabby, but he still has that M on his forehead, so you can still kind of see this one's turned. But that M on the forehead, but each color kind of shades darker, and so it blends in more of the tabby striping, but you can kind of still see it on this cat, some of the layers of the colors. So our tabby cats can come in different color combinations, right? So the gray tabby is the black stripes, right, with a silver or gray with that blue background, right? So this would be kind of a common type. We get that black and blue tabby. Brown, right, would be this one over here, which has black stripes and then a red-brown for the other color. And then our red, or sometimes you hear them called ginger tabbies, right, would be this orange color, red stripes, right, with the yellowish coat. And so these would be kind of the more common color combinations we'd see in tabby cats. Not quite so many. All right, so look at some other color combinations of tabbies, right? Or color combinations of cats that aren't tabbies, right? Tuxedo cats are one maybe a lot of you guys are familiar with. And these come in either black or blue, right? So the black or the gray coloring, and they're going to have white patches on them. Usually the white is on their chest and their paws, maybe their neck, right? So they kind of look like they're wearing a tuxedo, right? The black jacket and the white shirt underneath, right? So he's got the white underneath. So this black and white or blue and white would be a tuxedo cat. Anybody have a tuxedo marked cat? Oh, awesome. Couple here.
I do.
Okay. I think this one's really cute.
Yeah, its eyes are really cool.
And then a couple of you guys mentioned calicos or torties, right, or tortoiseshell colored cats. Calicos and tortoiseshell cats have a combination of black and red, and in some cases white. So calicos have black, red, and white coloring on them. And so they have all three colors on them to be a calico. A tortie doesn't have the white, so now they're just black and red with no white. And the reason that calicos and tortoiseshells are only female, or basically only female, is because the genetics for color, to be able to be the two colors, comes on their X and Y chromosomes, or their sex chromosomes. It's on the X chromosome. And female cats have two X chromosomes when they're girls. Males only have one, so they can only get one color choice, whereas females can have both. And so that's why we only have female cats be calicos or torties, because that's the only way you can get that in genetics. So if you have a male cat that ends up being a calico or a tortie, they are probably infertile and not able to breed because they probably have some genetic defects that resulted in that color combination, which is why males are so rare, and it only happens in females.
Probably. Okay.
And then our bicolor or party colored cats, right? These would be cats with blotches of two or more different colors, right? And so we can see kind of a combination of colors on the cat. A bicolor, right, would be like the tuxedo cat that's black and white, or different combinations, right? And then party color would be multiple colors of cats. So we can see that color pattern or type of cat colors in our cats. I think that this presentation was like the cute cat picture, right? When you get to pick out colors of cats. And then I talked earlier about having color points on your cats, or Himalayans are a combination here. In these cases, and this happens with Siamese cats too, and Himalayans, that their color points start out, the kittens are born white or very light colored, and as they age, the color points get darker. So in this cat, you can see it's on the ears and face, his feet and his tail. Those got darker as he aged. This kitten probably started out a white cat, and the points or coloration got darker over time. There's a variety of factors that can impact this over time and how these colors change. I don't know if anybody in here has a color point or a Himalayan cat, but there's environmental factors as well as genetics that impact its color. So with these cats that live in a colder environment or have colder temperatures often get darker color points over time, as well as some diseases can result in changes in the color points, and when they get pregnant, sometimes their color points will get darker as well. And so there are different environmental factors as well as genetics that impact how dark those color points get. So you can see some Siamese or some Himalayan cats have lighter points versus darker points depending on the cat. Some of them get darker, right, over the course of their life, and maybe will get darker across their whole body. I don't know why that cat is on a couch. It just is.
Well, why does it like get dark? Like, why do they get darker with like the pregnancy or like getting sick?
Why do they get darker with pregnancy or getting sick? So it has to do, especially the pregnancy, has to do with changes in gene expression during pregnancy. So for example, when most mammals are pregnant, the change in hormones results in like their hair not falling out, so their hair gets thicker over time. And so you can see changes in hair color, even in people when they get pregnant. But yeah, their hair can get darker during pregnancy because that change in hormones will result in that color change continuing as they get older. Good question. All right, so with that, that's kind of we've got some worksheets still to do though, so don't lag out yet. But our next time we're gonna work on cat health and talk about vaccines and parasites and how those things are important, so that's December 14th. But next, right now, we're gonna do our activity. So we're gonna finish out the pages in our packet, right? So now that we've gone through the coat colors, let's see how well you guys remembered the coat color challenge, right? How well you guys remember the different coat colors and patterns that we can see in our cats.
Which one to do?
Do the one that's titled Coat Color Challenge. Can you do that one first? And then we'll do the one on tabbies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's just do the coat color challenge one, and then we'll go through those answers, then we'll do the next one, unless you're super fast.
Oh, today, have you like called me? To ask if I was going to winter running. Something like after school. I was like, I swear though, I'm going to work out. Alien abduction.
I'm done.
Okay, we got one person done. Somebody doesn't understand number 2. Okay, so go ahead and skip the one if you don't get it. We'll come back to it. How are we all doing? Are we done? All right, let's go through. Oh, we're not quite done yet. We've got a couple more here. Did you guys total up your scores to find out what your
Oh, we have to know if we got them right or not.
cat? Oh yeah, I guess you would.
I'm done.
All right. How do we do? All right. Let's go through these questions and we'll see how we did on them. We got our cat name right from at the end. So, what is the dilute form of black? Number 1, what is the dilute form of black?
Blue.
Blue?
Blue.
Perfect. What is the name used to describe a black cat that has white areas on their face, belly, and paws?
Tuxedo.
Tuxedo, right. A calico will be which colors?
Red, black,
Black and white.
Red, black, and white.
Yeah, letter
Red,
B.
black, and white.
Red, black, and white. Number 4, which of the following words is used to describe a cat whose coat is white with just one other color?
Bicolor.
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 Perfect, bicolor, letter D. My answer key has like the letters and I keep looking at them, I'm not sure. What colors will a tortoise shell be?
Red and black.
Yep, red and black.
Red and black.
Number 6, what is the dilute form of the red coat color?
Cream.
Perfect, you're doing really good. When they are born, Himalayan cats are purely what color?
White.
Yep, letter A, white. What might change the colors of the darker splotches on a Himalayan cat?
All of the above.
Yep, letter
All of the above.
all of the above. And alien abductions probably would have some effect too, right? Number 9, what are the only cats that can be calico?
Females.
Yep, letter B.
Female.
And then number 10, what happens to the color points on a cat over time?
They get darker.
They get darker.
Yep, see, they get darker. Okay, so really quick, add up your scores. Let's see how we did.
10. Super Simba or Fantastic Felix?
Super Simba or Fantastic Felix.
Awesome. Hopefully you guys all did really well.
Super Simba or Fantastic Felix?
All right, so next, I want you to take a minute and there's that last sheet there to draw the tabby coat patterns and the tabby trademarks. So take up a minute and draw those tabby patterns, and I'm going to see if we can show our examples maybe. At least Natalie might show her drawings for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and draw those and let's see how you do.
We'll just go ahead and stand in front of the camera.
Draw what?
Why don't you try to draw those tabby patterns and we'll see what we get.
What's weird about the dress?
Can you just draw a little bit of it?
Yeah, just do a little bit of it, it's fine. All right, tell me if you're ready to look at the example tabbies. We'll give you just another minute or two to finish drawing.
I'm done.
You done?
Done.
All right.
Done.
So let's see how our pictures look compared to the pictures on here. So the last one, right, was the tabby trademark, which hopefully y'all got an M right on your cat's foreheads for your tabby trademark. Here's our classic, our blotched tabby. You can't see them as well though in this picture. So they have like these splotches or swirls kind of on their side. He's a little hard to see in that picture though, so I don't know if your drawings are very good. You need to stand up. Our mackerel tabby, right, which is the one that has the striping down the side. So we've got stripes. And then our spotted tabby, it's broken up into spots on our cat.
And right.
I don't know if any of you guys have your camera on. You could show us your examples. Do you want to show us yours?
I volunteer.
It's so beautiful.
Okay, come show them yours.
I kind of got lazy. This is so beautiful.
Oh, looks like Abigail, we can see yours. Let's make yours bigger. I can figure out how.
How do we share our worksheet?
If you have a camera on your computer, you can start it. We can see yours, Abigail. Yours looks good. Natalie's going to show you guys hers. Let's see if I can make you. Wait.
I'm sorry, I don't have
Oh,
a
it's all right. So you want to do yours? See if it'll switch to our camera. Do you guys see us bigger yet? No? Can make us bigger. Let's show yours. Here's Natalie's.
I got lazy.
Oh, you can't see them very good because of the screen.
You're fine.
We'll get to the.
You can go over and hold it up so they can't right in front of it.
Why call doing that?
Oh, now we can see Adriana's. Those look good. Yeah, yours look good. I don't know how to show ours very well though because of the screen. All right. Good job, guys. So, before we go tonight, can you guys tell me then from what we learned tonight? Can you now identify what color your own cat is? Do you know what patterns you see in your cat color? And then the last thing right before we go is to go ahead and do that quick survey for me at the end. And so I stuck the link there in the box in the chat so you guys can go ahead and fill out that survey for me before you go. So remember that next month we're going to do health and vaccinations. Again, there's the link in the chat box for the survey. It just takes a minute or two to fill out. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, look, somebody's cats are showing. You guys see, look, you can see their cats on your camera.
I can't see it. Oh, nice.
All right, well, we don't have any questions. Thanks, everybody, for logging in tonight. And we'll see you next month. How do you do it? So if you could click on that link, you should go to the form to fill in the survey.
Hey, Mom.
In the chat box.
It's like a private.
Oh, hang on.
On the bottom, just resend it. Mom. Yeah. There.
I think it only went to one person and not everybody. There, now try that. That should be our link to the survey for you guys to take a look.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry. We'll stop sharing the screen and then Natalie can do her.
Is this the survey?
Yeah, that should be your survey. All right. I don't know if you want everyone to see you type in your answers. Okay. All right. Any else minute questions before we go? Otherwise, thanks for coming, everybody.